Parental advisory. Seriously, if you are a parent and it's not immediately apparent that this cartoon is not for kids and that this video and also channel are not for your little ones, then you're just not a good parent. But I'll just take it from me.
Take it from me. Parents just don't understand.
So do the right thing and don't let your little ones watch this. This is nothing on this channel is for your kids. Yes, I'm the Looney Tunes Critic. Yes, I discuss Looney Tunes. That doesn't mean it's for kids. And the sooner that you understand that, the sooner that YouTube will have to understand it, and the better off we all will be. What's up, docs, dolls, dabblers? It is I, Trevor Thompson, the self-appointed Looney Tunes Critic. Some of you know me as being the historian that I am of the Looney Tunes and the Warner Brothers cartoons. Some of you know me as the Looney Tunes Critic from the Dabbleverse. But if you don't know me, this is what I do. I started off doing was covering all things Looney Tunes and Warner Brothers animation, classic Looney Tunes animation, and I do go over a fair amount of the new stuff too. In fact, I didn't even realize this, but my coverage of the newer stuff is what got me involved in this cracked article for the 100 greatest Looney Tunes characters, and it was a lot of fun, and thank you, Cracked, for that. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to read that. But today we are talking about all this and rabbit stew. And not only am I smoking, I'm also drinking, as if to completely just, shove it in your face, the fact that this channel and all things on it are not for kids. Oh, so you're here to contribute some story about yourself being a cartoon character that doesn't wear any pants.
Oh, doesn't wear pants? Oh!
This whole thing is not for kids, and you wouldn't know it because we're supposed to leave this up to the hands of YouTube, but we're supposed to let them, take care of it, but they do not actually put people in charge. And I'm say people, I mean living, breathing human beings, and I can prove it. So this cartoon is one of Tex Avery's last before leaving the studio and going to MGM. And this is All This and Rabbit Stew, and it is, among other things, it's in the public domain, but it's also it's definitely notorious for being on the censored 11. It's 11 cartoons that Warner Brothers has agreed will never be played on any network or TV or streaming platform. It would be the kind of thing you would really only see in home media releases, if you saw it at all. But that's the point, really, is that it is a censored cartoon. I mean, let's be real, it's racist. I have it on my channel here, and the thing about YouTube is that it has to comply with COPPA, C-O-P-P-A, which stands for the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. And basically what it means is advertisers can't advertise directly to children. The FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, started COPPA in, I believe it was 1999, and that is also essentially when Saturday morning cartoons died. And that is because Saturday morning cartoons was just basically a platform to advertise directly to kids. They were directly advertising to us, and I can completely say that it was felt. It was absolutely felt. Or maybe it was velvet. I wanted the Ghostbusters Proton Packs more than anything when I was a kid in the 80s. There wasn't a question of, is my mom going to buy it for me or not? It was, I have to get this now. They definitely advertised directly to kids. And the thing is, it was enacted in 1999, and around that time, Saturday morning cartoons were more or less dead. But then we had another revolution kind of with the home video market again with DVD. And we got all those golden collection stuff. There was a lot of really hard to find media that came out in the early 2000s on home video. But COPPA was in full swing, and everything was cool. We were collecting our DVDs, and everything was great. But then this thing called YouTube came along, and now it was about monetizing your videos, and it was that much easier for ads to play to stuff that was directly targeted to kids. And a lot of YouTubers that made a living making kid-friendly content and kid-exclusive content, myself not included, were kind of out of SOL, and 2019 was when it affected me, 20 years later, and we had to start identifying this content as being strictly for adults only. Before that, I had this at the beginning of my videos, and as you can see, I basically then, and still do, subscribe to the philosophy that those cartoons were for everyone. They were targeted for everyone because they were in the theaters, which meant that you didn't know what audience the cartoons were going to get attached to by the exhibitors, so they had to be able to play to everyone. My videos, in turn, would play to everyone, and that was the idea back then, and this content warning certainly covered that. But then 2019 came along, the 20th anniversary of COPPA, from the FTC. We had to make basically a darker line in the sand and say what was what and what wasn't. And you would think that would be easy enough, but YouTube gives you the opportunity to dub your entire channel, for kids or not for kids, For kids or not for kids, that is the question. But also you have to click kid-friendly or not for children in every single video you do. And you can put it as a default, which I do, but they still need you to identify each video yourself and say, this is not for kids, this channel is not for kids. And even then, sometimes, and that's what led to this video, YouTube will decide on its own independently whether or not one of your videos is for kids or not. And one of the downsides about that is that if it's for kids, you don't get to monetize it anymore. That's not what this video is about. I'm not mad that I'm losing the, $15 a year I make on my public domain restorations copy of All This and Rabbit Stew. No. This is about, basically, it's about censorship, but more than that, it's about it's about lying, let's be honest. It's about straight up lying. And let's be honest, it's not about lying. So basically what happened is about 2 weeks ago, I got a notice that this video, a video I've had on my channel for, 6 years, has suddenly been set to for kids by YouTube staff. And they say in the email that they manually looked at the video. And that's something you need to remember the whole time. It is rightfully so a censored cartoon. If you look at a lot of the home video releases, I've got here the most recent Looney Tunes Collector's series. On the back of all of them, it says, intended for the adult collector, may not be suitable for children. It's right there. It's right there on the physical release that some of this stuff is not for kids, and it should be as simple as that for the YouTube stuff, but it's not. So YouTube manually set the video to for kids, and I disputed it. I'm not a dad, I'm not a parent, but I don't believe that any parent in their right mind would want their kid watching this cartoon. I'm not here, this video is not about debating whether or not this cartoon is racist. It is. We don't agree with this, but the thing is, if we get rid of these cartoons, that's as bad as pretending it never happened. So my channel is all about preserving history. We can't forget that we did this. So that's why it was there in the first place and online, and there it stayed for 6 or 7 years until, as I said 2 weeks ago, I got this email and someone manually made the change in the setting to for kids. And so less than 2 or 3 days later, after the appeal process was apparently done, they wrote back again and said, basically, well, we got your appeal and we read it and we looked at the video again and we still think it's within they have the link to the word policies. This is what our policy is, and maybe you should read it again. And it's just like, yeah, I'm not going to read anything in that fucking list of policies, YouTube, about racist cartoons being forced upon children by you. And maybe the most infuriating thing about it, at least for me, is the fact that they insisted that they manually watched this thing and looked at it and said, no, this is okay for kids. This is only for kids. Look, YouTube, if this is fine for kids, then why isn't it on TV? We got MeTV now is doing the, they're not just doing the Saturday morning thing anymore. Tune in with me. They've got a whole fucking channel. Do you think they're going to be playing this on MeTV? And by the way, MeTV is for adults. It is an adult nostalgia channel, and even then they wouldn't play this fucking cartoon. I guarantee you. Dude, this cartoon was not... It was never for kids. And I've got some proof here because what do you guys know, you younger cats know about the 80s? It was a careless time, right? I'm saying this cartoon shouldn't be for kids. Look at this. A VHS right there. And what is it called? All This and Rabbit Stew. This one doesn't even get the title right. All This and Wabbit Stew. But yeah, there it is, man. Right on the fucking cover. All This and Rabbit Stew. You believe that? You know why? It's from the 80s. If you want to follow the narrative that no one was paying attention back in the 80s and it was a fucking free-for-all, let this be it. Let this be your fucking proof right here. These VHS tapes were just a dime a dozen, as I said before, and people were, putting them on and not really looking at it, and I guarantee you, no parents were paying attention to the fact that this was on, and it led to a more enlightened time. It led to all of us going, yeah, maybe we should put some labels and warnings and actually look at this. And no one is, YouTube is the new, it's a broadcast platform in addition to being a social network platform, a social networking site. It's one of the biggest media platforms in the world right now. And it's doing that same shit that we were doing back in the 80s. Oh yeah, we know best. It's fine. It's Looney Tunes. It's for the kids. You need to pay the fuck attention, YouTube. You're going to get a whole other generation of people watching this shit, putting their kids in front of it and thinking it's okay. It's not. And I tried to warn you. I used every fucking measure that I had available to me to say, stop. Not for kids, not for kids, not for fucking kids. What I'm saying is I'm very anti-censorship, and I just can't believe that I'm on the side of this that's saying, no, it's not okay to show this to kids. And the big scary corporation is the one going, no, this racist cartoon, not only is it for kids, it's for kids only. And it wasn't always like this either. The manual thing, the manual checking thing, they absolutely did do that because, a few years ago I did a video about the Grinch and how the Grinch stole Christmas. It was less about the special itself and more about the color processing and how we now think the Grinch is this bright neon green, and in fact he was originally like a snot green. But anyway, that video, because it was about the Grinch, got dubbed for kids only, and I had to expressly point out certain time codes and point to shots and things with specific shots with Twinkle Belly, who is naked from the waist down. She's Porky Pig in it.
I did it. I just magicked 2 chairs.
You have a gift. After you.
I did that. Nah.
I don't get it. Why's she walking like that? YouTube will flag the channel if we show her butt. Really? Yep. So, we can have a bottomless fairy, we just can't show her bottom? There's a logic to it, and as many logics are, it's beyond you. Yeah, well, I guess I don't care. As long as we can still see her.
And I had to point out, no, this is a video hosted by 2 characters, and one is naked from the waist down. You can't let kids watch this. I set it to not for kids for a reason. I set this whole channel to not for kids for a reason. Stop it, YouTube. You're the problem. You're the one who's insisting that I corrupt these poor kids. But that is my point, is that a few years ago, I could actually rely on the appeal process and saying, look, no, please look at this because this is not appropriate for children. And I said, and then someone looked at it, said, oh yes, he's right. Indeed, there is a half-naked fairy throughout most of this video. Maybe children shouldn't be exposed to this character. But that is essentially my point, is that, a few years ago, the appeal process actually would have some sense and logic, and a person would look at it and determine correctly, yeah, okay, this isn't for kids, you're right. If a person is actually watching this, they're watching the first 5 seconds of it and they see that it's the Warner Brothers logo and bugs and they go, okay, it's Looney Tunes, it's for kids. They're not actually watching the cartoon proper. But that is neither here nor there. This is not okay for kids. I think I've made my point. What else can I say? I'm just really fucking mad at YouTube for this. And I think, forget what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments what you think YouTube is. Do you think YouTube is being fair? Am I right? Is YouTube right? Let me know in the comments. Be sure to give a thumbs up, like, and subscribe, and do all that stuff. And until further notice, I'm Trevor Thompson, the self-appointed Looney Tunes Critic. That's all, folks.